everyone! Have you ever seen a coral reef? Pretty, aren't they? But what are these fascinating creatures? Are they plants? Are they rocks?
Hi, my name is Adelia.
Hi, my name is Laura Hostin.
Hi, my name is Diadamia.
Hi, I'm Siti Aisha.
Hi, I'm Rayani.
Hi, I'm Ainul.
Well, a coral reef is an underwater ecosystem characterized by reef-building corals. Reefs are formed of colonies of coral polyps held together by calcium carbonate. Most coral reefs are built from stony corals whose polyps cluster in groups. Coral belongs to the class Anthozoa in the animal phylum Cnidaria, which includes sea anemones and jellyfish. But unlike sea anemones, corals secrete hard carbonate exoskeletons that support and protect the coral. Most reefs grow best in warm, shallow, clear, sunny, and agitated water. But why are coral reefs so important? Coral reefs form some of the world's most productive ecosystems, providing complex and varied marine habitats that support a wide range of organisms. Reefs are home to a variety of animals, including fish, seabirds, sponges, cnidarians, worms, crustaceans, mollusks, sea squirts, sea turtles, and sea snakes. Besides its function as a nursery for a wide range of species, the coral reefs also provide revenue for fisheries and tourism. Healthy coral reefs promote commercial and existing fisheries industries and other business, such as tourism and recreation. Almost half of the world's fisheries rely on the coral reefs in their life cycle. Local economies obtain billions of dollars from visitors through recreational fishing trips, diving tours, hotel bookings, and other business operations located near reef habitats. Finally, coral reefs play an essential role in regulating the global climate by supporting natural systems that help absorb the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Through the process of carbon cycling, healthy coral reefs contribute to reducing the amount of greenhouse gases, particularly carbon dioxide, which are responsible for climate change. This natural carbon sink helps stabilize the climate and mitigates the impacts of global warming.
One of the basic facts about coral reef is they cover less than 1% of our ocean floor. They are home to 25% of all marine life, such as clownfish, seahorse, sea urchins, and crab. Truly, these are the rainforests of the sea. In Malaysia, there are several places you can visit to see these beautiful creatures, such as Redang Island and Perhentian Island, which is located in Terengganu, and also Tioman Island that are located in Pahang. Let me introduce you guys to the most famous coral reef. First of all, staghorn coral is one of the most famous coral reef. It's a fast-growing, reef-building hard coral that resembles the antlers and form dense coral gardens, providing shelter for many marine animals. Secondly, elkhorn coral. Due to their tree-like growth form, elkhorn corals provide complex habitat for fish and other coral reef organisms. Thirdly, Borax. Sounds cute, right? It's also commonly known as harm coral or finger coral. It's also known to be some of the oldest form of life on Earth due to the slow growth rate of the coral. The coral is formed from tiny polyps that attach together at the base of their skeletons and branch outward. But today, these vibrant ecosystems are under threat. Bleaching, overfishing, destructive tourism, and rising sea temperatures are changing our reefs before our very eyes. Climate change warms our waters, causing corals to bleach. Pollution from plastic, sewage, and agricultural runoff affects marine life. Unsustainable practice like dynamic fishing, careless anchors, and coral souvenirs push reef closer to collapse. But let's not lose hope and faith, guys. Malaysia has created marine parks like Tun Mustafa Park in Sabah to protect this fragile ecosystem. Coral restoration projects are giving reef a second chance, while awareness campaigns encourage eco-friendly tourism.
Moving on, let's talk about the biggest threat that coral reefs are facing today. One of the most serious threats is climate change, especially coral bleaching. When sea temperature rise, coral become stressed and expel the algae that give them color and nutrients. Without these algae, coral turn white, and if the heat continue, they will eventually die. Another major threat is pollution. Wastewater and plastic flow into our sea. These pollutants suffocate corals and encourage the growth of algae that compete with corals for sunlight and space. Plastic can physically damage reef structure, and even something as small as sunscreen used by tourists may contain chemicals that are harmful to corals. We also cannot ignore destructive fishing practices. Fish bombing, sand fishing, and overharvesting reduce biodiversity and destroy reef structure. Even trawling near coral reef areas can wipe out decades of growth in just a few hours. In addition, building reservoir port will increase sediment in water and block the sunlight coral need for photosynthesis. And careless tourism, such as anchoring boats on reefs or touching coral while diving, also causes long-lasting damage. All these threats combine to weaken coral reefs, making them less capable of supporting marine life. And if we lose our reef, we don't just lose biodiversity, we also lose food security, coastal protection, and precious part of Malaysia's natural heritage.
So what's being done to conserve them? Let's dive into the efforts led by the government, communities, and the NGOs across the country. First up, the government. Agencies like the Department of Fisheries Malaysia, Sabah Parks and Sarawak Forestry Corporation manage the marine protected areas, the zones where harmful activities are restricted in order to allow coral reefs to recover and thrive. Malaysia currently has over 40 MPAs. These areas are monitored regularly to assess coral health, fish population, and water quality. One standout initiative is the Reef Care Smart Partnership. It's a collaborative program that brings together government agencies and local communities to co-manage reef areas. And every year, reef monitoring is conducted, especially around Johor's Mersing Island. Scientists and volunteers are responsible to track coral health and respond to bleaching events. The data collected helps shape national response strategies and climate adaptation plans. But it's not just top-down. Communities are stepping up too. Reef Check Malaysia supports 7 community marine conservation groups across the country. The first CMGC was formed on Tioman Island in 2014. It was so successful that the Department of Fisheries officially recognized it. Today, Tioman's model has inspired similar groups in Perhentian, Mantanani, and other islands. These community groups do it all, from reef monitoring, removing invasive species, organizing beach cleanup, and running education campaigns. It's grassroots conservation at its best. NGOs and the private sector are also making way. Reef Check Malaysia leads the charge with reef surveys, training programs, and a sustainable tourism initiative. They work closely with dive operators, resorts, and schools to promote reef-friendly practices. One of the key missions is capacity building. That means teaching people, especially youth and coastal communities, on how to understand, monitor, and restore coral reef. From marine biology to data analysis, they're equipping the next generation of reef guardians. Some NGOs are even experimenting with coral nurseries and artificial reefs to accelerate recovery in damaged areas. These innovations blend science, technology, and local wisdom.
Now guys, what you as an individual could do to help protect these coral reefs? Well, there are numerous ways to help protect them. Believe it or not, you might have already been doing it on a daily basis. One of the effective ways to protect coral reefs is to always make sure you recycle or dispose the trash properly. This is because marine debris can be harmful to coral reefs. For example, when disposing of trash, make sure it is properly disposed into the bin to avoid trash being blown or washed away into waterways and oceans. By doing so, marine debris will not be able to physically damage the corals by smothering them. Secondly, you can also use environmentally friendly modes of transportation. Instead of driving your car, try to walk or use public transport more often. Implementing this method can help reduce the amount of greenhouse gases that are emitted into the atmosphere that contributes to ocean acidification and increase ocean temperature. This is because more acidic ocean waters will impede coral growth and warmer waters will cause coral bleaching. Furthermore, if you have a garden or lawn at home, try to minimize the use of fertilizers. Excessive use of fertilizers on garden or lawn may harm water quality because nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus from the fertilizer can be washed into waterways and eventually end up in oceans. These nutrients are capable of polluting the ocean water that leads to harming the corals because those nutrients can contribute to rapid growth of algal bloom. For example, the corals may be prone to coral diseases such as white syndrome and black band disease due to lack of light that had been blocked by the rapid growth of algal bloom. Lastly, you can take a reef-friendly approach to sun protection. Some ingredients that are contained in sunscreen may be harmful to it could kill the coral reefs. Therefore, it is advisable to reduce the use of sunscreen and try to find other alternatives instead, such as wearing long-sleeve shirts and rash guards to prevent sunburn. It is proven that small actions can make big changes. Therefore, it is never too late for you to do something in order to protect the coral reefs. As the saying goes, it is better late than never.
Well, everyone, we have learned a lot about coral reefs, including what coral reefs are, why they are important, the tourism spots that depends on them, the current issues and threats they face, and the last one, the solution introduced by governments, communities, NGOs, and even individual responsibilities to protect them. Now, I would like to share with you one of the best examples of successful coral reef conservation in Malaysia, which is the Cintai Redang program by Reef Check Malaysia. Established in 2022, this initiative not only promotes sustainable tourism but also actively involves the local community in protecting marine life. Through the Redang Marine Conservation Group, which now has 12 trained eco-divers, the program has achieved impressive results. They have rescued 750 coral fragments, removed 274 kilograms of ghost nets, and eliminated 89 crown of starfish, a major threat to corals. These achievements prove that when local communities are empowered, conservation efforts can create real and lasting change. Cintai Redang show us that together we can protect and preserve Malaysia's coral reef for the future. Last but not least, if you guys want to know more about successful coral reefs conservation in Malaysia, you guys can check this out below.
Thank you for watching. Bye!